Hi, Joe.
Hi, Miss Williams.
How are you?
And I don't know if anybody else is there. Hi, everybody. You're on mute, Miss Williams, but I think it's just you. I think it just might be you and me.
Can you hear me now? Still no?
I can hear you, Sharon.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just have to turn on my picture of that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I had my sound off. If anybody was speaking, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Hey, Sharon,
Yes.
I want to recommend that we, re-standardize our meetings again, with the time and the dates. So we're not, so we can definitely be sure when they are, because it's hard to plan. Probably for
Yeah.
you too.
Hopefully we'll be going back to in-person meetings.
Yeah, that'll help a lot too. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, because this is it's different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very impersonal.
Yes.
Did you get a big turnout yesterday?
Um, Larger than I expected. I think they may have had about maybe 40 or 50 people come in.
40 or 50?
Yeah.
So most of it was through write-ins or
Mail-in.
whatever.
Mail-in, yes.
Mail-in, I mean, yeah. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, they're telling me they're not going to have the complete count until next Tuesday.
Right. They can't
At 8
certify
o'clock.
until after that.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, just have to wait, that's all. Did you hear about this guy got arrested by ATF? They booked him in Penns Grove and Carney's Point, and then he broke away from them on Saturday.
No.
I think it happened Friday or Saturday.
Oh.
There must have been a real warrant out for his arrest, for ATF to come out.
I know, right? They don't play.
No. So, yeah, I think it happened they arrested him down Penns Grove Gardens.
Oh. Must have been something serious.
One other thing, have Penns Grove Gardens ever notified you that they put cameras up?
I think that came up. Wasn't they the ones that did that proposal to us? Was it last year or the year before?
I know Silver Run did it. They got very good lights and cameras.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's-
Silver Run looks like you're at a football game when you drive through there.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's good.
You got some LEDs, man. Those LEDs really brighten up.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I hope they're. I mean, we did a resolution on it, so they got. I know they got to move on it. If not, they're going to be in trouble. I think we did.
Yeah, I'll have to check and see. Did we give
Okay.
a turnaround time on that? Like,
I think we gave them like a year.
oh, okay.
I think. It's been a while, so I don't know how good my memory is.
Hey Sharon, this is Mark. Did the
Hi,
meeting
Mark.
start at 6 or 6:30?
Pardon me?
Did the meeting start at 6 or 6:30?
It was advertised.
What's up?
It was what?
Hey, Carl. 6:30.
Hey Sharon. Hey, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can see it, Carl.
Oh, looking like a doctor, right? Debbie's here as well.
Okay.
Hey. Hi, Debbie.
Hey, you guys are only 5 foot, not 11 inches apart.
No, we ain't even 6. We're not even practicing social distance. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding you. I know that. Well, you got your masks on, so I was just kidding you, though.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy.
Yeah, but you're coming through loud and clear, and I can see you guys.
Okay, all right.
Who else? Is everybody on?
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Maybe they are, I don't know.
No, I don't see them. I don't see the rest of the counts. I don't see Mayor or Carol yet. They should be popping in.
So, Tracy Thomas, all group. Is that the acting?
It doesn't look good for this election for the 3 contingent current council people, but they have 7 more days to count the votes. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark, you guys get that job done down the street?
yeah, we finished it today.
Oh, man, you guys are really into it. Woo.
We start another one tomorrow.
Wow. I'll take a look at it.
Hmm.
No. Hold on just a second.
It's hard to tell who's in the meeting. You can't see. All it is like a black screen unless somebody talks.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I see their names up on top.
I don't see anything.
You might want to push share screen. Right at
Share
the
screen.
bottom. It's right at the bottom.
Or
It says,
start video, and I think you're I guess
Yeah, that might do it too.
and yeah, you just came up. I just
Yeah.
saw you.
Yeah, you're up top there,
yeah,
Mark.
I just fixed my hair. Can you tell? I've been out in the sun. I went up to see Cherry today too, and he didn't have any time. So
Oh wow.
I was gonna get I was gonna get my hair did for the meeting. Cherry said, "I don't have time for you. You look like you need more than you look like you need more than a haircut."
Well, at least you got all your hair anyway.
Yeah, so far.
Everybody that's in is Sharon Williams.
So how do you see who's on? How do you see?
I think it's right at the bottom. And there's like if it says share screen, and it should put all those people up top or on the side. I think that's how you do it. I'm not an expert by any means.
yeah.
I'm still a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sent a memo out, Mark, about standardizing these meetings, times and dates or whatever. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you're going to plan to be out of town or something, you know that, you know, when the meetings are.
Yeah.
I'm sure
know.
other people are having the same issue.
Well, the problem is the meeting notice went out and said 6 o'clock, but then when you got into the Zoom meeting, it said 6:30.
I think you're probably right about that. Yeah, definite typo there.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, good. All right, looks like we have some folks.
What happened to the meet? Oh, there you go.
I had a phone come up or something.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we have some folks that are waiting to be admitted into the meeting. I'm just checking who these folks are.
Is that the public?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he said
It looks like Carol and Mike are coming on board.
Yeah.
and he said
Who's missing us?
he know 3 different people that had the surgery and they had it messed up. I said, oh, thank God, because I ain't had no trouble. I want to know.
Excuse me for 1 second.
You had a phone replacement? You had a patella replacement. You had a big stainless steel thing put in this leg for the new patellar arrival.
If you see on the picture they showed it went like this, and it had a little space. And I'm gonna look up there. You see that? It's the plastic piece that you can't see. The plastic.
Yeah, that's the replacement.
Yeah. I guess I can open this up. There we go.
Okay.
Sharon?
Yep.
Hello. Somebody call my name?
Carol? I said,
Oh, hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol. It's Mike. Yeah.
Yes. No.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So we're ready. We have everyone here. All right. So we'll go ahead and open the meeting. So right now we'll do the pledge. So place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United
of the
States
United
of
States of
America,
America.
and to the
Yeah,
republic
For which it
which it
stands,
which
stands,
it stands,
one
one
nation,
Nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you lead the invocation, please?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, O Lord. We thank you for the opportunity to gather through this platform. And Father God, we pray that you come into this meeting and guide our governing body to do your will. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
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 All right. I'll read the Open Public Meetings Act statement. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the Borough of Penns Grove Municipal Bulletin Board designed for that purpose. Notice was also posted on the Borough of Penns Grove website, www.pennsgrove-nj.org. Notice was emailed to the official newspaper as provided by resolution. All right, Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Here.
Ms. Mincy,
Here.
Mr. Oliver,
Here.
Mr. Pasquale,
Here.
Ms. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Washington.
Here.
Okay. Trying to share my screen, everybody, so that you can see the agenda. Yeah, let's see here.
Names from people.
Madam Clerk, can you share the agenda, please? Can you share your screen?
Let me try this.
Okay.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
I have it up, but all I'm getting is a whiteboard.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this thing. I don't want to use Zoom anymore. Yeah, it should be allowing us to share our agenda. I couldn't even get in a minute ago.
I don't know what's, yeah.
Okay.
I printed mine out.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's what we'll do.
Nope.
All right. Okay, we will move into approval of the bills.
And was there anybody else we told that to speak? And then Leslie.
I'm gonna ask everyone to please place your phones on mute.
Are y'all on mute? Are they on mute?
No, she was this. You can go in the office and.
She could have been grabbing food.
She did. Only reason why I ain't complaining.
Yeah, because we wanted to go, yeah.
But other than that, but I was taken back a little bit. I'll take that. Oh, that's great.
I'm trying to mute everybody.
I said, you coming to get that picture.
All right. Okay. All right, so we move into the approval of the bills. Is Steve Lab on? Clerk, do we need him on to do the approval?
No, it would just be a motion to approve the bills.
Okay.
In a
Can I have a
second.
motion to approve the bills, please?
Motion to approve the bills.
Second? You'll have to unmute yourselves if you're speaking, council.
Second by me, Lou.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion approved. All right. Now we go to public portion for the agenda items only. This portion of the meeting is provided for comments on agenda items only. There will be a public portion later in the meeting for general comments. If you have any comments, please state your name and address for the record. And remember, you get 3 minutes. Motion to open the public for agenda items only.
Motion to open.
May I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, this meeting is now open to the public for questions or comments regarding the agenda items. Okay, let's see. Okay, someone's asking what are the agenda items? We can't even share our screen. So one of the agenda items, for everyone's knowledge, is we have a resolution, and or actually an ordinance appropriating the sum of $24,000 to be used for acquisition of various computer equipment, including computers, software, and other related items within the Borough of Pennsgrove, County of Salem, State of New Jersey. So that's one item. Okay.
You'll ask for a comment on that?
Do we have a question or comment on that item? Okay. And then the next item is an introduction of ordinance for the first reading, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 47 of the Code of the Borough of Pennsgrove. introduction of resolutions for consideration. So there's the approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the 2021 Road Maintenance Program project. Are there any questions or comments for that agenda item? Okay. Then we have a resolution authorizing the execution of an employee agreement with the police chief. Are there any questions or comments for that item? Okay. So someone's asking me to explain, you're saying explain a resolution authorizing the execution of an employee agreement with the police chief?
Mayor, I could comment.
Okay, thank you.
Folks, I'm not looking to impede, Attorney Joseph Valento, hello. I'm not looking to impede the prospective passage of the contract. I do not know if Attorney Adam Telsey has reviewed the contract. I have not had the opportunity to do so. If we could get confirmation from Mr. Telsey that he has done so, that would be, say, an appropriate step forward. I did discuss this with the state monitor. His review of the matter, it's not a legal review. It is a legally binding document. I understand it may be the same document as before. And I do apologize to the chief for my need to have this conversation regarding the matter, but until either we can get confirmation that Mr. Telsey has reviewed it or that I can review it myself, which I can do, say, as early as tomorrow, I would ask that this be tabled. If we could perhaps have, say, an emergency meeting, for lack of a better way to put it, perhaps early next week. I mean, that would be that would be an appropriate step forward just based on the present circumstances.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Lento. Question. So can we discuss this now since we were open? This was for public comment, or do we need to close public comment before we discuss that further?
Yep.
What was that, Lou?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Lento, we'll come back to that once we get out of public comment.
I understand.
Okay. All right. And then the next item is an emergency temporary resolution, NJSA 40A4-20. I don't have that in front of me. Madam Clerk, could you just give a brief explanation of what that is?
Unfortunately, Mayor, that came out of the finance office, and that's not my area of expertise. I was hoping that there would be someone here to do that. I can pull up the resolution and read it if you like. But there's several columns as far as dollar amounts. Sorry. Okay. Let me get this up.
Just try to give a very brief explanation of what it is.
Okay.
Provide emergency funds.
Things ain't coming up now.
Here it is. It's just to provide emergency funds for the 2020 budget, and these are the ones he wants to provide. And there's some big ones in there, like for the insurance that I noticed for insurance and stuff like that.
You know, they can hear you.
I'm almost with you. Emergency temporary resolution number 2020-78, whereas an emergency condition has arisen with respect to the need to provide budgetary funds for 2020. The cause of the emergency is due to the fact that the borough is unable to adopt the 2020 annual budget without proper revenue figures and state approval. And it is considered necessary for the health and welfare of the community to continue to provide necessary services. And basically it is adopting funds until we can adopt our budget. The total amount is $1,031,000 $1,505.43 per the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any questions for that item or comments?
No.
Okay, we're moving on to the next item, which is the state contract resolution.
Do we have to vote on that?
Yeah,
No.
once we move into out of public comment, this is just
Oh,
for,
okay, okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
It's a
Sorry.
new way we have the agenda structured.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have a resolution establishing a fair and open process for the award of professional service contracts for municipal attorney for the Borough of Penns Grove. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Sorry. Okay. All right, may I have a motion to close public portion on the agenda items?
Motion to close.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved to close to public for the agenda items. Okay, so now we move into second reading and public hearing for ordinances. So our first ordinance is 2020-4, and it's an ordinance appropriating the sum of $24,000 to be used for acquisition of various computer equipment, including computers, software, and other related items within the Borough of Penns Grove, County of Salem, State of New Jersey. So pretty much this is so that we can basically do a technology upgrade at the borough, which will help us to run a lot more efficient. Can I have?
Motion to adopt ordinance 2020-4.
Second.
We need to open to the public
Again?
for discussion on this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I thought we opened them all up at once and now you have them opening up individually? Is that what we're doing?
Yes,
Okay,
Okay.
just asking.
this is considered the public hearing portion and
Oh, for this one. For this one.
She has them for all.
Okay. Motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2020-4. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So clerk, this is the portion where the public can ask questions. Is that what it is?
yes.
Okay. Anyone from the public have a question or comment?
I can't even read it.
Okay, someone is asking what this item is. This item is basically to do a technology upgrade at the borough. We get new computers, scanners, new equipment. The equipment that we currently have is old and outdated. Our laptops don't contain a camera on it. So this is to get all new equipment at the borough. You're welcome. Okay. Oops.
There's our accountant.
Hello, sorry. I don't know why my phone was acting so crazy.
All right, motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2020-4.
Motion to close?
May I have a second? Was that a second?
Second, yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt the ordinance 2020-4.
Motion to adopt?
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Clerk, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Burkett,
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Mitzi,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Now we move into introduction of ordinances for the first reading. This is the first reading and introduction. The public hearing for these ordinances will be held on August 5th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. at our next council meeting. So this is for ordinance 2020-8, which is an ordinance amending chapter 47 of the Code of the Borough of Pennsgrove. Motion to adopt by introduction.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bercute,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Motion approved. Okay. The next item, introduction of resolutions for consideration. 2020-7-96. This is an approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the 2021 Road Maintenance Program project. May we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Bercute,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The next resolution, 2020-7-97. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of an employee agreement with the police chief. Mr. Lento,
Yes, Mayor.
okay, you had something that you wanted to say, I'm sorry.
Yes. And again, as before, I apologize to the chief, but we do not know if Mr. Telsey has reviewed the contract. I have not done so. I could do so as early as tomorrow. In speaking to the state monitor, he did a review of the matter, but it's not a legal review. It is a legally binding document. I understand it may be the same contract as before, but like it would be necessary in good faith. Like I wouldn't be able to say approve the contract at the immediate moment without the necessary due diligence in this regard. I would suggest that we table the matter. We could reconvene, say as early as possible, just so that the matter could be attended to. But just again, at the immediate moment, I have to express these present issues.
Do you have the contract? Mr. Lento, do you
I
have?
do not have, no, I do not have the contract at the moment.
Okay, I can forward it to you. All right. So can we have a motion to table?
So moved.
Was that a yes? Or you
Yes.
saying? Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Bercute,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, moving to resolution 2020-7-98, the emergency temporary resolution NJSA 40A 40-20, and as the clerk explained a little earlier, this is about budgetary funding.
Oh.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Who gave a second?
Mr. Bercute.
Mark.
Okay.
Mark.
Clerk, can you do roll call vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Bercute,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
excuse me, Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay, motion adopted. Thank you.
Could I say something on that resolution or whatever?
What was that?
I said, could I just mention something on that resolution?
Which one? The one that we just
Just
adopted?
voted on. I know we voted on it, but I was just gonna, I know Steve is, being in charge of general government for 2 years. Steve has done that same thing for the last 2 years where he requested that we go out and get funds, pay bills, and then it's paid back by year's end. Because a lot of our pensions and our insurance is all due very early in the year and has to be paid. And we don't usually have all the funds until the tax money starts rolling in. And then we get our transitional aid too. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Mr. Pasquale. All right, moving into 2020-7-99. This is a state contract resolution. Madam Clerk, can you give a brief explanation of what this is?
I'll pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
I think this has to do with our computers as well, the new upgrade. But let me just see what the finance office has written.
Was it just came in a few days ago? I don't have it printed.
This is the Borough of Penn Square wishes to purchase computer software and other related items from an authorized vendor under the State of New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Program 1-NJCP. Whereas the purchase of goods and services by the local contracting unit is authorized by the local public contracts law, NJSA 40A:11-12. And whereas Dell has been awarded New Jersey State Contract number 19-Tele-00656, and whereas the finance officer recommends the utilization of this contract on the grounds that it represents the best price available for this contract. And now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Pennsgrove that computers, software, and other related items from an authorized vendor under the State of New Jersey be awarded a contract for this purchase for general government, police, and other code enforcement officials for $25,538.97.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved. Thank you. All right, moving into 2020-7-100. This is a resolution establishing a fair and open process for the award of professional service contracts.
What the?
Someone may want to go on mute. See if I can help them out here. All right. I'm sorry, 2020-7-100, a resolution establishing a fair and open process for the award of professional service contracts for municipal attorney for the Borough of Pennsgrove. Okay. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Before we move into the committee reports, now, Clerk, how long does it generally, like this whole process take? So you send out the bid, it takes what, 10 days?
To advertise for 10 days.
Uh-huh,
Not for 10 days. I believe it is for 10 days.
uh-huh.
And then we received the bids at least 10 days after the advertisement.
Okay,
Then you guys would receive copies of and make your decision based off of what you review.
Okay, so this,
We're talking approximately, where are we? This is July 8th.
mhm,
Possible to be ready for the next meeting, the August 5th meeting, or you may have to have, based on how fast the paper can get it published and then for the receipt time,
okay,
may end up having to have another meeting.
okay, okay. Thank you. So that gives us pretty much another month. So we need to have a solicitor. I know, Mr. Lento, thank you for acting as our solicitor. You've been very helpful. I spoke with the state monitor today. He said that it was fine. He didn't want us to operate without appointing a temporary one. So he said that we can appoint Mr. Lento as the temporary one until we pick who we want. And then once we pick who we want, then he would just go back to just being the conflict attorney. So we could actually appoint him as the temporary solicitor tonight. So we would just have to, I guess, appoint him. Any comments from the council? Any questions or any thoughts?
Mayor, I thank you for your kind words. I'm really available.
Uh-oh, Mr. Lento, you froze. We can't hear you anymore. It's like a still shot.
He froze my kind words.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Let's see.
Can the mayor hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So Mayor, do we need a motion to have Mr. Lindell be our
Yeah, we'd have to make a motion to appoint him as our temporary solicitor until we appoint someone else.
okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to appoint him as our temporary solicitor.
Okay. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, clerk, can you do roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Hi, I'm back.
We're just about to make the motion to appoint you as a temporary solicitor. Clerk, can I have a roll call vote?
Yes. Mr. Burkute?
Yes.
Ms. Mincy?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Washington?
Yes.
Okay, so motion approved. So Mr. Lento, you have been appointed as our temporary solicitor until we get through the bidding process and choose another solicitor.
I
So
understand. Thank you.
thank you for doing that. You've been an awesome help.
Thank you.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say, or did you want to wait until we get into the reports for because I think you have a report.
Sure. No, I was just, I don't know if everybody heard me earlier. Thank you for your kind words, Mayor, and everybody's support. I, of course, remain available to the borough to continue to help as needed. I could speak to the report at the given time, whatever's preferred, please.
Okay, we can wait till your report. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So we're moving into committee reports. So for Buildings and Grounds, that committee is Lou Pasquale, Mike Burkute, and Carl Washington. Lou, do you have your report?
Yes, it's just a very short report right now. The only real item I have is that our 3 part-time employees are cutting the grass on like 2 or 3 days a week, and on Saturdays or Sundays, I don't know, for about maybe 4 hours because of the heat in the mornings. We're going through the list. I have to review the list because we have a few question marks as to locations of properties, because there's no mailbox signs or street signs on the, not street signs, but no numbers on the property. So there's some confusion there, but once I go through them, I'm gonna have to do a runaround. We'll probably have all the properties completed, and we'll be going back through the properties and probably doing a more extensive job on any and all the properties. Since we've been catching up, and we haven't had that much rain, so the grass is not growing, so we're catching up. And that's about it besides, all the equipment has been repaired, and I had to purchase a mower at Lowe's, push mower, because we didn't have one. And we got some other materials from Tractor Supply. So the guys are doing pretty good. They haven't really asked for anything else, and the equipment's running well now. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So that's about it there.
Okay.
Nothing else to report, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, I would like to add that I gave my key for the building to Joe Senegrossi,
Oh, okay.
because he said he had to be there early in the morning to bring stuff over. So I'm just going to let him keep that key, Lou.
No.
Okay. Yeah, they wanted to take my key, but I'm in and out there, off and on to, help the guys with the
No, I
equipment. And
don't
didn't
go
really
in there
want to
that
give up my
much,
key.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lou. Someone has a question, but we have to save it for public comment. So I'll be sure to circle back to that person. Okay, moving to the general government report. That's Carl Washington, Carol Mincy, and Deborah Scott. Mr. Washington, do you have a report?
Not much, Mayor. I just want to say that our deputy clerk, Kayla, is back from her maternity leave. So I'm sure that's much relief and help with Sharon. And also myself and Councilwoman Scott and Council President Mincy and yourself, I guess we'll be meeting within the next week or so to revisit on when possible of opening up the Borough Hall.
Okay.
I think we met like close to a month ago, and we said we will revisit it the middle of July. So I'll be reaching out to you guys within the next week or so to see when we can briefly discuss that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Moving to housing and zoning and planning and shade tree. That's Deborah Scott, Lou Pasquale, and Carol Mincy. Ms. Scott.
Nothing at this time.
I'm sorry.
Nothing at this time.
Oh, I have something for Debbie. I've got a couple estimates for 3 trees on West Main Street to be trimmed, one to be cut down, like 2 buildings down from Borough Hall, because it's disrupting the sidewalk and curb, and it's running up against the guy's house. The wires are running through the tree, and afraid the wires are going to be ripped down. So we're going to probably take down that tree, and then we have one other tree to be cut down in the little park on East Main Street. I just have to get the estimate to, Debbie.
What was the estimate, Lou?
For those trees.
Yes. How much?
I think it's like $800.
Okay. Just check with.
500 to cut the one down, and then mostly a little bit of trimming, like at the old Willis building. There's a couple trees like out of control there, almost running into the building, and they're on our sidewalks. So, and then the 2 buildings down from Borough Hall, and a 4th one, a small evergreen tree in the park.
Do make sure you check with Steve to see how much is left of the shade tree.
Okay. All right, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I get it, I'll give it to Steve, and I'll work with him.
Okay.
So we don't go over budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, thank you. Moving into Parks and Recreation and Board of Health, that would be Mike Berkut, Mark Oliver, and Lou Pasquale. That's right, right. Lou Pasquale, okay. Mr. Berkut, do you have a report?
Yeah, I wanted to say something, that the parks are still closed because of the COVID-19, but it's possible that we can maybe open up the Barber Park, the area that doesn't include the swings and so forth in the future. But there's a lot of things that we're getting from JIF regarding anybody using borough facilities about signing a waiver that if they come in and use it for a picnic or whatever, that they sign a waiver, that they won't sue us. And then I'd like to thank Mr. Pasquale. I haven't been able to constitute the recreation, parks and recreation like I'd like to, but I always wanted to start reaching out to people who have facilities like the old YMCA. I think they're called the River Community Center or something like that now. But we have a meeting set up tomorrow, Lou and I, at 1 o'clock to go over there and talk to them about how we can, they can work together with Penns Grove, and Penns Grove can work together with them to use facilities for our youth. Okay, health. Sharon has a report. I'd like to include that in the report, but I'll just read it real quick. In April, there were 4 deaths. In May, there were 2 deaths and 1 marriage certificate. And in June, there were 4 deaths and 1 marriage certificate. And the rest of the report can be included in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to Public Works, Streets and Roads. Mr.
Yeah.
Oliver?
Yes, Mayor. I have a couple of reports. One on the roads. I sent a recommendation, and I copied Sharon to Mark Rumor at Sickles for recommendations for the grants for the roads that need to be revised or finished. And he has the list. I talked to Lou and I spoke about it, and I sent him a list, and I asked him to prioritize that list and get back to us with what he thinks he can get done for the money that he can get grants for. So he should be getting back to us this week because they submitted that report to the state last week, I believe. Another thing is the storm sewers are starting to get clogged up with debris. So I called the road department a couple of days ago, and asked them if they could go around and check to make sure that there doesn't need to be any cleaning or purging of those storm sewers to make sure that they don't clog up. Because we did get a bad storm the other day, and if there's any debris or anything in there, it just makes it worse. And the third thing is, Mayor and Council, I would like to, towards the end of the year, before this fall, revise or review between our council the contract we have with Carnage Point for the road department work, to see so that everybody on council knows what's included and is prepared to discuss what we need to do to either renew that contract with Carnage Point or try to solicit services on our own for those services. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. And in terms of the Public Works contract with Carnage Point, I think that it would be good if we sat with Mr. Lento, send Mr. Lento the current agreement that we have with them, let him review it, and then we sit with him and talk about, what our options may be.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd like to do that.
Okay.
So I guess as far as Mr. Lento goes, once he's reviewed it and has time to understand what's involved, maybe we could have an internal committee meeting and then tell the committee what we found.
Sounds good.
Tell the council what we found in a report.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, thanks.
Okay with you, Mr. Lento?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I did send I think you requested, problems that we're having with Public Works that are not in the contract. And I addressed a letter, and I think I put like 8 items that are delinquent, and probably the contract that would be helpful to Penns Grove, definitely. I think I copied Mark on it too, but I even
I got that.
Other items I might add to that.
Yeah.
So
send it out with any other items you have, Lou, so that Mr. Lento can see it and that we can review that, so that we can review it again.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to public safety. Ms. Carroll, do you have a report?
All I have is that now that we have an emergency lawyer. We have some ordinance that we like to put in. Just to tell you what they are, I talked to the fire chief, and he spoke to me, said he went out to a few bonfires, and we don't have a bonfire ordinance where they be having the bonfires on the ground. And we need something in place for that. And then I've had a few residents talk about, we all know about the fireworks and the noise, but when I looked into the codes, I didn't see a time. I didn't see a time when the noises should stop anywhere. And also the last one, I had talked to Ed Ramsey early in the year. We talked about a fire ordinance when these houses catch on fire, that these people, their insurance has to pay the Pensgrove so much to hold on to in case they up and leave their properties. So I don't know how the ordinances work or anything, but that's some of the things that I need to discuss for public safety. Some of the other things, the chief is here. I think the fire chief is here. And I think my ambulance captain is here. One other thing, I did talk to the clerks today in the court, and they have started ordering some stuff to open back up. So some of the stuff they've ordered would work for us too in opening. So we may not have to order as much stuff to get us going. That's all I have.
Can I add something here again? I'm sorry. Carol, you're adding laws. Can you add one to there's no parking on the Riverwalk? Because I think we got together and they're going to put signs up there in a week or two, and we got to be able to enforce those. You know, no vehicles on that Riverwalk way.
But excuse me, the chief was supposed to look into that for me because it's considered a sidewalk. So I don't know why they're not being fined. It's a sidewalk. You're not allowed to park on the sidewalk. You shouldn't be allowed to park up there. But he did say when you get the signs up there that they could start being fined, but it should already be because it's a sidewalk.
I see. Well, he's going to install 3 signs, so
okay,
it'll be well covered.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's it, Ms. Carroll?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, moving into departmental reports. We have the finance officer report, but I don't know if Steve is on or not. Steve, are you on?
Well, Erica is.
Well, there's Erica. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. All right, hold on. I'll read it for you. All right. Excuse me. Public hearing and adoption of capital ordinance for acquisition of computer equipment. State contract resolution for the acquisition of computer equipment. He says they're going to be charged as a line item as part of code enforcement. And the emergency temporary budget resolution adds an additional 3 months of budget appropriations. It is from July through September. And that is all we have.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving into the chief of police report. Chief Riley.
Righty. Thank you, Mayor. The report prepared is from May 31st to July 6th. In that time period, we responded to 1,307 calls for service for a total of 6,011 calls for the year. We issued 104 motor vehicle summons. Total for the year would be 206. Excuse me. We issued 104 motor vehicle summons. The total for the year is 243. There was 58 arrests in that same time period, which gives us a total of 206. 19 borough ordinances issued, which gives us 27 for the year, 1 DUI, which gives us 6 for the year. On some other notes, we're currently still actively investigating a shooting from June 22nd that occurred on West Harmony Street. We're urging the public, again, to provide any information possible. The number's 299-0304. It's Detective Nero, or they can contact myself or any officer, but any information will be helpful. So we would like to get that issue resolved as soon as possible, and we've been actively working on it with some other agencies, so hopefully we're coming to a resolution. Last week, NewJersey.com, when I spoke with Matt Gray, it was in reference to, again, urging the public to provide us some information to get that shooting resolved. And we were speaking about other things, and at that point it was a 3-week period, but what I put out there was a 3-week period then, which would be now 4-week period. Patrol's taken 6 guns off the street with 2.5 pounds of marijuana. So for patrol officers, I believe it's phenomenal. It's a great job, and we urge them to continue that to make Penns Grove safer. So I thank them. I want to comment on Monday night. Monday night, a subject was arrested in Penns Grove Gardens. He was involved in a shooting in Carney's Point approximately a week and a half ago. He was taken into custody, as I said, Penns Grove Gardens. Today, we've seen that on Facebook and NewJersey.com, which we had to correct that. Someone escaped from the Penns Grove Police Department or Penns Grove police officers. What occurred was the subject was arrested and taken to Carneys Point Police. Carneys Point police officers, after processing and interviewing at Carneys Point Police Department, they brought him to the Penns Grove Police Department. Prior to getting in the building, once they opened the police door, he ran from their officers, and he has not been apprehended yet. But I wanted to clear that up because he was never in custody at Penns Grove Police or police officers. Like I said, the only part we had in it that he was in the Penns Grove Gardens, and we were assisted by the U.S. Marshals who actually took him into custody. So just to clear that up. And lastly, I have spoken to the mayor and council president about this. Tomorrow, July 9th, Pastor Peterson of Second Baptist finally was able to set me up a Zoom meeting with all the local clergy. What that is our first meeting. That is to obtain email addresses and church locations. And then what I'm going to do is roll out an educational program that we're going to start in-house with police policy. So we're going to discuss use of force policy, internal affairs policy, early warning policy, all the policies that the police officers, are governed by. And what we want to do is develop relationships with the clergy members, but we also want them to understand, what's going on. And it also gives them an opportunity to clear things up for us, so then they can take it back to their congregation. So tomorrow, finally, we were able to get everyone together, and the mayor's going to be in on it. And I know the council president's going to be in on it, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to getting started in that. So with that being said, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Chief Riley. All right, moving into Fire Chief report. Adam, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you?
Hi, Adam.
Hope all is well. I really don't have anything. Well, I do have two things. One, if you don't know, Tyrone Avenue, we had a fire about a week ago. Brought in the Division of Fire and Safety and turned it over to the Penns Grove Police Detectives. It's looking to be like it's a fireworks issue. Also, Saturday night, we got called out to Oak Street for a brush fire on both sides of Oak Street down on the Riverwalk. There was a fireworks issue that ignited the grass on Oak Street. Moving along, the truck, I was in contact with E1. The truck should be done the middle of August. So I'm hoping, it's out of Ocala, Florida, so hopefully they're not going to get struck that bad to where they'll have to shut the plant down. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Everybody be safe. And thank you.
Thank you, Adam. All right, moving into the ambulance EMS captain report. Okay, let's see, is Debbie on? I don't see. Let's see.
I don't think she's on there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay. All right, we'll move on. Okay, moving on to my mayoral comment. I just had one comment. I just wanted to congratulate all the candidates that were elected last evening for the July primary. And I want to say thank you to everyone who ran in the election. I appreciate everyone for running and for wanting to be a part of changing and making Penns Grove better. So I just appreciate it. I'm happy that people in this town love their town enough to even take interest to vote and to run for office. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much. And that's all I have. We can move to the attorney report. Mr. Lento, you're on.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'd like to thank everyone, the mayor, council, Ms. Williams. I would like to acknowledge Ms. Williams specifically. She's been very helpful in getting the documents needed to review. I'd also like to acknowledge the Chief Riley for your efforts on behalf of the town. I will send everyone a copy of my report via email after the meeting. I'm going to be going over detailed information at the moment, so once you receive the report, it should be more clear in case everything's not able to be processed at the immediate moment. With regards to the transfer of 41 South Virginia Avenue, Block 84, Lot 24, I received a call and a letter from Murray Honig. Mr. Honig wanted to complete the transfer of the property back to the borough that is owned by his client, FS Properties 159 LLC. Evidently, he has been trying to get the former solicitor, Mr. Telsey, to complete the transaction back in July 2018. The council voted July 17th of 2018 to accept the property back by resolution dated July 17th, 2018. What was needed to complete this transaction, or to complete the transaction, that is, was for the borough solicitor to send to the county clerk for filing with the appropriate fee of approximately $60. I have advised Mr. Honig to send me an updated deed and transfer documents, and I will facilitate this and close this matter for the borough. Mr. Honig advised today that he is getting an updated package to us as soon as possible. And I'm attaching a tax map in the ordinance for your review as documents A, which again will be provided after the meeting. The transfer of 64 East Main Street, Block 67, lots 20, 20, 02, 22, 23, 24, and 26. This is a little more complex than 41 South Virginia Avenue. This is a property that the bank took back by foreclosure and sheriff stated February 16, 2018. I worked with Ms. Williams in researching the liens on the property, and we have determined that lots 20, 22, and 26 have a $50,000 municipal lien, and lot 23 has a $12,000 tax sale certificate held by Echo Lakes Enterprises and is being foreclosed upon by attorney Gary Zietz, who represents the tax certificate holder. Lot 24 was foreclosed upon by the borough in September 2019 and is owned by the borough. In short, if the borough accepts the property from 64 East Main Street, grantors, they would either, one, accept it as a whole parcel and work with Gary Zietz and his client, Echo Lakes Enterprises, to satisfy that tax lien certificate foreclosure so that the whole parcel can be granted back to the borough, or take the parcel with the exception of lot 23. We still have to do further investigation on this matter. I'm not prepared to respond further at this time. And I'm attaching tax map as documents B, which again will be provided after the meeting. Flameworks versus the Borough of Pensgrove. As the council is aware, the borough is a defendant who's being sued by Flameworks. I received the file from Ms. Williams and reviewed the file in the court docket. This litigation was filed against the borough on October 4th, 2019. An answer was filed on behalf of the borough on December 30th, 2019. Between October 4th, 2019 and today, other than my review and investigation, nothing was done on behalf of the borough, regrettably. I've been in contact with Flameworks' attorney and will push the matter towards a conclusion if possible. Essentially, there was a significant delay in discovery, and this is why the matter is dragging on. I will keep you informed as the matter progresses. Pensgrove versus Fenwick Commons. I've made a few attempts to get this file from Mr. Telsey's office and have been unsuccessful. Mr. Telsey advises that he is unable to locate the file. He is searching for it. In short, the borough has a judgment in the amount of $799,000 and seems to be with an interest on the judgment of $107,570.05 for a total judgment of $906,570.05 in its favor. And I will be trying to get it satisfied for the borough. I will keep you informed as it progresses, and I'm going to attach the court's docket judgment for your review as document C. The deeds to the Valenciano Corporation. I've been tasked with investigating this matter to bring it to a conclusion. It has been determined that there are more unanswered questions than answers. It seems that there's a lot of issues with this transaction, the overall bid process and standing. I will have a report ready shortly. However, I'm still waiting on some items from Ms. Williams. Once a report is ready, I will forward it to everyone involved. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Linto. All right. Moving into old business. We have the property located at 37 Pittman Street, 51, 53, and 55 Pittman Street for demolition. Right now, we're still getting estimates, or actually I received 3 estimates for that. So we're moving on in the process to get those properties demolished. Then, let's see, moving on to new business.
Before you move on,
yes,
Madam Mayor, can we have a resolution that Steve suggested that we go out for bidding or make a list of properties we want to be demoed and then go out for bidding and have a resolution by the council to, move this thing forward.
Yeah, he mentioned that. The only thing is with these properties, that they're very, very, very unsafe. And so we need to do an emergency or emergent demo for that, which is a different process.
All right.
But again, we have to continue to talk with Steve about it because he's got to tell us what the next steps are to make it happen.
I do have a bid for 51, 53, and 55 that I can pass on to you.
Can you forward those?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're from Lopes. So that'll give you another, price range.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. All right. For new business, Mr. Linto just discussed the property located at 41 North Virginia Avenue and 64 East Main Street. So we can move on through those. The next item for new business is we have a resident by the name of Lynn Banks, and he requested to host a block party. It says Naylor Avenue, which is Main Street to Railroad, and he wants to do it 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. I don't see a date here, but I do believe he mentioned he wanted to do it in August. So do we need to, what does he need to do? He needs to get a permit? We need to vote on it? Like what's the process? Do we need a date?
Mayor, normally we, get more details and we'll have somebody from the police department, the chief, to communicate with them to let them know the do's and the don'ts, no open alcohol outside and things like that. And then we will vote to allow that to happen and have somebody block the streets off from the time that he's requesting. We don't have to agree with the time, but I think it's still daytime at 8 o'clock. So I'm
It
okay
is.
with it.
It is. It doesn't really get dark till like 9 or 9:30.
So basically, we can take make a motion and take a vote to approve it pending the outcome of the chief's review after meeting with them to get more details and explaining the borough rules and ordinances.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, this is Mike Bercute.
Yes.
You know, you made me the fund manager, and these people keep sending me about COVID and opening up and when you have a block party, I know in the past before COVID-19, do you care if they don't wear masks and they don't social distance and they get and some of them get infected with virus and then sue the borough, or do we have to worry about that at all?
Well, because the governor opened it up, the outside up to 500 people. Why, I don't know. We can't override that. I mean, but again, if that's something that you would recommend as a council, then you can let the chief know. And that could be something that the chief can, advise him that, we're requiring that all guests outside, wear a mask.
Yeah, the reason I'm bringing it up again is because of Jeff. They keep sending these things about getting a release of affidavit if you're going to do this and do that, so that it
Yeah, well, it's not on borough property, so it's really not an issue for us to worry about. But all we can do is basically make recommendations.
Okay.
And that recommendation is, to have everybody still follow the governor's ordinance by wearing masks and social distancing.
Okay. And so the 2 food trucks and maybe a game truck, we don't care about that either, right?
No, that would be on him.
Who's ever running it.
Wait a minute, food trucks. He might have to speak with Sharon about that because I think they have to have a permit. I can't quite remember. Yeah.
It would definitely have to have permits from the county first before the borough can even begin to review and process.
Yeah. But basically, they would have to be approved. The food trucks would have to already be pre-approved by the Board of Health county, wherever they're from, whether it's Gloucester County, Salem County, Cameron County, wherever that food truck is business established, they already have to be approved by the Board of Health, and then they would bring that proof to us, and then we would give them a permit for that day for whatever the cost is.
And just want to let you know the date is August the 28th.
He's asking for August the 28th?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well that gives some, well, we got another meeting to prove it.
Yeah,
so
if
we want to just,
I think what,
wait a minute, he's talking.
Until he meets all the requirements. I'm sorry.
I think what the
If
mayor
it's August the 28th, we meet.
What's the process?
I just explained the process. We just make a motion to approve or disapprove pending that he fill all the obligations that we required. And at this point, some of the obligations are the government's requirement.
Right.
We never in the past we never really challenged anyone, and we hadn't had any issues with approving block parties or anything like that. We come in, we explain to them that they still have to follow the borough ordinances, the laws, of course, and then everything is fine. But because he's having food trucks, that takes it to a different level. Normally, the block parties is more like a family barbecue or something like that. You're just using your own grills, and that's fine. But if you're bringing in a food, a whole different thing. They would have to go through some other guidelines. And that would fall under you, Mr. Bercute, as far as Board of Health.
I was afraid you said that, Courtney.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Is there any paper they have to sign or anything like that? Because far as cleanup for the street. You know, like when they finish.
Right, that would be all a part of any discussion he would have with the chief, myself, but there's nothing like actually in writing. There's no form or anything to be completed.
Okay.
All right, so council, do you want to wait until all these things are discussed with Mr. Banks and then come back on August 5th and vote?
Yes.
For that?
Yes.
Okay. So we can do that then.
I don't know how his advertisement is, so we can approve it pending. That way, you know, he would have time to do his advertisement or send out his invites or whatever. That's my suggestion. I mean, you know, approving it pending that he follow all of the obligations. You know, if you don't follow all the obligations and sign any documents that we may prepare, then you know it wouldn't go. And then by the next meeting, we should know if everything, you know, was taken care of. So if Miss Missy have some concerns about, you know, as far as making sure the trash is cleaned up, that's something that we can put in writing to have him sign and agree to.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do a motion to approve pending he meets all of the requirements. Is that what you're deciding to do, council?
That sounds
Yes.
good. That's fine.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Pending he meets the requirements. Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Burkett,
Have a qualified yes. I'd like to have Mark take over this part of the committee for me, this block party. Mark,
Jeez.
will you volunteer?
I do not.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved pending he meets all the requirements. All right. At this time, I'd like to motion to open up to the public for questions and comments. I would like for each person, if you're gonna ask questions, you need to state your name and address, and you get 3 minutes. Motion to open to public.
Motion to open.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now open to the public. I do see in this chat here, there's a couple individuals that had a question. There's someone, let's see, Rich. If you're here and you want to ask a question, please take your phone off mute and state your name and address. Okay, moving on. There's someone else named Elite Guard 25. Please state your name and your address, and go ahead and ask your questions. And you have to take your phone off mute. Okay, moving on. Mr. Hudson Walter Hudson, you had a question. Please take your phone off mute and state your name and address, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Walter Hudson, Penns Grove. I had two questions. The first question I want to ask is, what are some, deterring initiatives, or are there any deterrence initiatives in regards to dealing with, the crime, in the town, far as, the shootings and, the gun violence and whatnot. I know that last year when we was dealing with the shooting of Tayshawn Hayward, there was an ordinance or local legislation passed to where, you know, it will hold these apartment complexes basically accountable, you know, for making sure the residents are safe. They have, you know, adequate lighting and cameras and all that. So one is that being enforced, and two, are we also looking out, you know, as far as the community in regards to lighting, because there's a lot of places, a lot of streets that is like dark, and you got older people that live in those areas. So, you know, adequate lighting would, you know, tie into, you know, kind of like a deterrence, because, you know, if someone's out there committing crime, they're not going to do it where it's highly visible and people could see them and things like that. So, you know, those are my two-part questions. You know, is there any deterrence, you know, initiative as far as dealing with, you know, the recent, you know, gun crime, gun violence, and how are we doing with enforcing the apartment complexes, you know, with holding them accountable to the local legislation of the Tayshaun Hayward law?
Okay, so the way I see it, there's two people that could answer questions. Who is your question directed to?
Well, you can answer that, Mayor.
You want to know about enforcing the lights with the complexes? Has anybody
Yes.
followed up on that? I'll have
Yes.
to look into that and get back to you with that answer. Okay.
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 Well, I think, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Would the chief be able to answer the other question as far as any initiatives? Because I you know, when he was given the data and all that, you know, I thought I heard something about something that he was trying to do with getting the help of the clergy or something like that. But, you know, I was kind of in and out my truck when he was like talking.
Chief Riley, can you answer his question?
Yeah, that specific one. Tomorrow, there is a meeting with Pastor Peterson from Second Baptist. I was able to organize this meeting. It took about 3 weeks to get all the local clergy together. And what we're going to do is we're going to start after this meeting. This is going to be a contact meeting, and to roll out some type of a, don't want to call it an educational program, but that's basically what it is, to teach all the clergy of all the things that the policies and SOPs, obviously get it to them ahead of time and have question and answer period, so we can develop a relationship with all the local clergy so they can bring it to their parishioners, and so we can build unity. And when we have major incidents and things that happen, hopefully these people will be the ones that help us, you know, resolve these issues. When people don't want to come forward and give statements along those things, hopefully this will also help that. So that's actually starting tomorrow.
So,
as far as the ordinance with the camera, I don't know. I would imagine housing would be the one to enforce that. I don't know if Penns Grove Gardens has their cameras up. I don't think they do, because I know that's one of the ones you're referencing, correct?
It would be Penn Village, Silver Run, Mallard Park, and the Gardens. That's within the jurisdiction of Penns Grove.
Yeah, well, like I said, I believe housing, that you could refer that question to housing office, because I don't know the answer to that. And
Madam Mayor, I could respond to that question a little bit.
Go ahead, Luke.
Actually, just before the meeting started, I was talking with Sharon about whether or not each of these income housing or these houses complex have responded back to Sharon and told her whether or not they have fulfilled the requirement of the resolution we passed last year to put cameras and lights, enhanced cameras and lights in their complex. And to my knowledge, only I think Silver Run has done it. I don't think, I haven't heard a word about anything for the last year and a half when Walter brought it up, and I'm concerned about it myself. So,
well, who is in charge of enforcing this? Because I think we need to, I would assume, being as though, the mayor is the CEO, enforcement would come from the top down. But I think, we need to know who is going to force this, because summertime, and of course you've seen on social media, we've seen the news of these recent shootings. So we don't need to be in a position to whereas people have been shot and killed or whatever the case may be, grave wounds and all this other stuff, and people not knowing who's who and what is what. I mean, I think it's really time to, whatever law that we have on the books, it's time for them to be strictly enforced. It's a lot of kids that's around, all these places, and you got, these shootings carrying on, and, enforcement needs to happen like as soon as possible. And also, as I said, when
I
we
think
go
we
down the
gave them a
street,
year to update, but it's been well over a year. And I haven't seen any response back from Sharon, and she hasn't passed anything on to council. So I don't think they've done it.
That's because it's not being enforced. That's why.
Right. I think Silver Run has, but I'm not sure about the other housing complex.
is there any funding like out there as well? Like when I talk about these dark streets, so for instance, like my grandmother lived on 81 West Pittman Street, and you go down that street is like dark. And a lot of my friends and family members still have, mothers and fathers and grandparents who live on that street, and it's other places, but I'm just, talking specifically to Pittman Street, just, to make a point. Like, is there any funding out there that we can get that would put, adequate lighting in these dark, streets and things?
Well, I was looking into clean energy for the Borough Hall and for the other buildings. And I'm sure that we could get reimbursed like 70% if we, update to LED lights.
LED lights, I was going to ask about that.
LED lights really enhance any street.
Right.
So sorry if I cut you off, Mayor.
No, it's okay. I was going to ask him, can we look into getting LED lights, because I know they're brighter too.
Oh yeah.
Because the street lights that we currently have, they're dark. They're dull. Like you can't really see anything.
Take a look at Silver Run. Silver Run looks like you're going to a football game at night. Seriously.
Yeah, it does.
And if we could get some lights like that around the town, that would help out a lot.
Okay, so who's going to work on getting brighter lights?
I will.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
also, while I'm on it, I will check with Ed to see if these apartment complexes have done what they were supposed to. If not, then they need to be issued a fine, because they've had more than enough time to get it done.
That's a very good idea.
Check with the fire insurance.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carroll.
Check on the fire insurances for the.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Okay, so Elite, I'm going to go back to Elite Guard 25, which is Aaron Spencer, who lives at 42 Franklin. He's having mic issues. So let's see. Okay, his question is, I have heard Mr. Pasquale talk about estimates tonight, as well as other meetings. I would like to know our borough practice for getting estimates. Are we getting more than one estimate? Also, he talked about the bid he has of tearing down of properties. If so, how many did he get for the trees? I heard Mr. Oliver talk about our contract with CP. When is that contract up? Regarding outside masks, the governor signed an order requiring masks outside today when social distancing is not possible. Okay, so let's go back. Aaron had several questions. So the first one is addressed to you, Mr. Pasquale. He wants to know, what's the borough practice for getting estimates? Are you getting more than one estimate?
I try to get 3 estimates unless it's an emergency. And then we go with a local tree service that has provided services for us in the past and have been pretty reasonable. Is that good enough?
Okay, let's see. He said also he talked about the bid he has of tearing down of properties. If so, how many did you get for the trees?
For the trees right now, we have one estimate and a second one is coming in, but we don't have a third one yet.
Okay. And then his next question is, he heard Mr. Oliver talk about our contract with Carners Point. When is that contract up?
That contract is kind of a rolling contract, but I think it's up for renewal if we want to in the fall. That's why I want to have it talked about and discussed prior to that date so that we can make a decision.
Excuse me, when did he say it was up?
I think it's a rolling contract if we don't renew it, but I think it's the contract date, I believe, is the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Oliver and Mr. Pasquale. And then it says regarding outside masks, the governor signed an order requiring masks outside today when social distancing is not possible. Okay, I think that's all of Mr. Spencer's questions. Let's see. Okay, he's saying it should be mandatory to get 3 estimates and local is not always the best. Follow the money always is his comment. Yeah, we always get a minimum of 3 estimates anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve won't
Yeah, you
let
have
it
to get a
fly
minimum
unless
of
we
3.
don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Spencer. All right. And then let's see. We had someone else. Let's see. Mr. Spencer says thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then we had someone ask, why can't we buy used equipment from other towns? We can do that, right?
What they usually do is they have an auction on equipment. I couldn't tell you the last time they had one, but they usually would take your stuff. If we had stuff that we didn't want anymore, or if we bought something new and had it, you would take it to the county and they would have an auction. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but they used to have an auction once a year.
Okay.
There's ex-military too, where you can get surplus equipment and they'll give it to you pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. And then someone asked about the chief's contract and they wanted to know how a guy ran from the police station handcuffed, which Chief Riley did address, and Mr. Lento addressed about his contract. That was one of their early questions before we got started, so that those questions were answered. Let's see, and moving on to, Jenny. Jenny, are you able to take yourself out mute and state your name and your address?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Jenny Payne. I live at 7 Walnut Street. I wanted to ask about like if somebody dumps on the street or if they just leave trash and Carney's Point doesn't pick it up, what is the procedure for getting rid of that trash? Because on my street, we have a trash can there, but somebody has put like 10 bags of trash there and Carney's Point has refused to pick it up. It's been there about 2 to 3 weeks. And there's this sofa and a couple of other things. And I'm just wondering, how do I go about getting rid of that?
You have to pay for it.
Not me.
Yeah, some of that has to be paid for the owner of those things that need to be picked up, like the sofa and stuff.
The guy lives in Delaware. The stuff has been put there. It's been there for 2 weeks. The guy has 10 bags at the top of the street. Broad and Walnut, and down towards the trash can, he got 10 more. But in the grassy section, right next to the building there, they have 2 sofas, 2 chairs, some car tires, a bunch of shrubberies. And the guy that lives on, Broad Street is bringing this trash there. 2 weeks ago, that night that it rained, I seen like a golf cart. I know. I seen the guy dump the stuff there. The guy had the golf cart in his yard. So it was clear that he was riding around town dumping the stuff. And my question is, what can be done about it?
Who's speaking right now?
Is that you, Walter?
This is my husband.
Oh, James, I'm sorry.
Lou, all I'm saying is that the stuff is being dumped here, and it's been 2 weeks. The trash department, when they came out, they tried to pick the bags up, and one of them burst. It was so heavy. And the girl said on the trash truck, she said, "We're not picking this mess up." Now, in the meantime, 4th of July weekend, we had to look at that mess. But apparently, if nobody in the borough can see it, nothing gets done about it. Like I said, it's been 2 weeks, going on 3.
Is he a landlord?
Say that again.
Is he a landlord? Does he own the building that he's dumping it at?
No, he doesn't own the building. He doesn't own the building. The person that
Does he live there?
No, he's dumping it near his house.
Right. In other words, that's not even where he used to put trash out. He used to put trash out on Broad Street. You can't live on Broad Street and put trash out on Walnut Street. In other words, he's putting 100 bags out every trash day on Walnut Street. I mean Broad Street, and then he figures that he can put more trash out, bring more trash into the town, and then put it out on our street.
I would say call the clerk's office and have the inspector go out and inspect and sign a complaint against him so he gets
The
a summons.
trash department said that they're going to make sure that there's a citation written up for it because they're not picking it up. So my point that I'm saying is, why would I have to do anything?
Well, I guess just as a follow-up, it could if it gets hit from both sides, we can make sure that he gets a citation.
I'm not worried about the citation. I'm worried about getting the mess cleaned up. I mean, it makes our property look nasty, don't you think? The borough came out, they put a trash can on
Well,
our
the street
street.
department's not going to do anything about it if it's not.
They put a trash can out on our street. And everybody's
I think he gave enough information that I can identify who this person is, and I will give that information to the code enforcement tomorrow to go out and get that person a citation. When he said riding around in the golf cart and the other few different things, and that I know exactly who he's talking about. So I will make sure Ed and the code enforcement get the information to who the responsible person is for this trash, and we'll definitely get on top of it.
Well, can I ask you?
Having given him 2 citations, one for last week and one for this week.
Well, can I say something? You mean to tell me Broad and Walnut, that's the main corner there. You mean to tell me that the police department don't ride by, the code enforcement don't ride in 2 weeks? And I mean, come on. All right, my wife said that.
Enforcement again advised that she's on vacation and has been. She won't return until Monday of next week. She's been on vacation for the past 2 weeks, so that may be why it's going unnoticed by code enforcement.
Yeah.
It's been so long. At first, it wasn't even no car tires out there. Now it's car tires out there.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I know exactly who this person is, and I will give that information to the police as well as to. I guess Mr. Ramsey can step in.
He can step in.
Until the code enforcer comes back. Correct.
He can step in.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll have Mr. Ramsey get on top of it, as well as the police if they have to file any citations or whatever. And we'll apologize that you had to.
Hey, Carl.
Yes.
I think this guy is, from what James is telling me, he's a really prolific dumper, and he's finding places around Penns Grove to dump. And I think he's like doing remodeling. Instead of getting the dumpster, he's putting into bags. That's why the bags are so heavy.
Okay, so now that we know this, we'll pay more attention to it and make sure the issue get addressed.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention, and thanks, Carl, for taking care of it.
No problem.
Thank you. All right. Any more questions before we close public session? Going once?
Oh, is this open session or?
This is still open session.
Okay.
Public session.
I had one other issue that I want to just mention, but I don't know if I should. I mean, I can, say it in either session.
All right, let's go ahead and close public session since no one else, and then we'll get to your issue, Lou.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to close public session.
Motion.
Can I have a
So
second?
moved.
Did you second, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved to close. All right, Lou, you had something, a comment you wanted to make?
Yeah, just a short item. I've been contacted by Ed Ramsey and the police department about boarding up a few places in town. We boarded up 3 places, and I know there's a hot spot on East Main Street. We got to probably board up in the next few days because of the drug activity there. So I just wanted you to be aware. And, if you see any places open, we're starting to make a list up that we can, board up places. So these areas around Penns Grove that have abandoned houses, that they're secure. So, for our residents and for our police, that the area is safe. So that's all I was going to say. And also, if, we come across homeless, we're starting to develop some contacts for, trying to divert these people into getting help. We got tons of social services out there. We just got to hook them up to them. So,
Not a lot in Salem County. I can tell you that.
What's that?
There's not a lot in Salem County. I can definitely tell you
Social
that.
services told me they had a housing program there when I called. And they were supposed to call me back and never did. So I got to call them again. So,
okay. Well, keep us posted on that.
Lou.
Yep.
Question for you. You talking about the house that you're going to board up? Is that the one up there by Walgreen?
Yes.
That's the one that I told Ed about last week. So.
That was you telling Ed?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. The police had activity up here a couple of days ago where they had tape up, and I don't know if was a major crime here or not. But
No, they're in the building. They're in that house, Lou. So
okay.
Well,
before we board up a house, we have the police go in and ask them to leave. So whoever boards up the house is not in jeopardy of getting hurt, or I'm not getting hurt if I go up there and look at the place to get the job done. So I just wanted to make you aware.
Okay, I appreciate it because I be giving Ed a heads up all the time about the houses that need to be, tend to.
Right. Well, when they're done, I usually put an email out. I copy the mayor, all the council, the housing, the code enforcement, and the chief. And also, if I have to, I call the police and I get it documented on, by whoever is, dispatching.
Well, Lou, I appreciate what you're doing. You've been doing a hard job, even with the virus. You've been out there working, so I thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Is that all, Lou?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank
Wow,
you, everyone. The next council meeting will be held on August 5th at 6:30 p.m.
And Borough Hall.
Everyone, and be safe.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.